Alright lads, Imperial Bodybuilding here, you know the score. I bring you the latest bodybuilding news from around the world. And we start the show off today with Samson Dauda, who is 3 weeks out from the Olympia. Now lads, I'm going to ask you a question. A couple of weeks ago, people were saying that Samson was downsized, that he looked stringy at the Romania guest posing. Well, you tell me here, who looks stringy now? Look at the size of the arm, look at the shoulder. This is going to be the best Samson that we've ever seen. Don't listen to other YouTube commentators. They do not know bodybuilding. Him and Marlena know exactly what they're doing. They were in condition about 2 weeks ago, and now what Samson is doing is just filling that physique out. He's probably added more hardening agents into his supplementation, let's say. But look at the back. I mean, we've never seen a Samson this hard, this dense. Look at the rhomboids, the traps, the separation in the rear delt. Samson is absolutely huge, and if you don't think that he's going to turn up this Olympia, then you've got another thing coming. Moving on, we have a recent update from Mike Sommerfeld. This is just posted about 2-3 hours ago, lads, and I'll tell you now, he is my favourite to win the Classic Physique division. Look, Mike is he's like a hybrid between open bodybuilding, classic, and 212. If you look at the legs, they're like open legs. Then he's got a back like a 212/open back. But some of his poses that he hits, he's got that classic waist. He's got a beautiful silhouette. He's a very, very unique bodybuilder. You look at the striations and the feathering in the glutes, the hamstring, the detail, the hardness. Mike is an incredible bodybuilder, but if you look at that back, that could win a 212 show. That could probably win an open show. It's that complete. He goes round to the lat spread. This reminds me of Kai Green. He's that wide, he's that dense. Look at the lower back, how he fills it out. A lot of people say he's too big for classic. And for me, if you went back to the 70s, yeah, you probably would have been right. But in this modern day, this advanced level of conditioning that the judges want to see, he's probably perfect. Look, he has amazing abs, he hits a vacuum. What more do you want? And if you just look at the feathering in the glutes, he's got an absolutely jaw-dropping physique. The only thing about him is he's quite understated. He hasn't got 10 million followers like C-Bum or Urs Kalasinski. You know, he's not the most charismatic guy, and that's probably what holds him back in this age of social media. But if we're just looking simply from a physique perspective, lads, he is, for me, he's the finished article. He is complete, and I don't really see anyone coming close to him in a classic physique division. That's a classic pose right there. So let me know what you think. Is he your favourite? Can he beat someone like Ramon Dino, who is also looking to win his first title in the classic physique division? We look at Ramon Dino here. This was posted a few days ago. Yeah, he's good, but I think he's holding himself back. He said himself that he struggles to make the weight. Now, look, he's got these crazy arms, or should I say forearms. But his arms are actually mediocre. It's just those massive, massive forearms. I don't like them personally, but some people say that it adds to his freakiness. I do feel that this man, like Urs Kalasinski, would benefit if he made the jump up into the open. I just think that he's not a waste of talent, because if you look at him here, he's got Sergio Oliva vibes. You know, he's got great legs. He's got a great core. I just think if he translated it into the open, he could probably potentially win open shows. He's got a great back. I think he's added width. This is where he really struggled in past shows. But look, he's going to be a contender, definitely. Do I see him beating Mike? Probably not. I think Mike is just more complete, and I think he's just exactly what the judges are looking for. But let me know what you think. Should Ramon Dino go into the open class? And how would he do? Let me know in the comment section. Now moving on, we have another classic physique competitor. We have Breon Ansley, who is also 3 weeks out from the classic physique. Lads, I'll be honest, look, you can see him now. He's 45 years old. He's fading fast. He's had a great physique, and don't get me wrong, by average Joe standards, he's still incredible. But at the top of the IFBB Pro League, where we've got a lot of new up-and-comers coming through, Breon needs to hang his boots up. He's had an amazing run, 10 plus years at the very top of his game. But I look at him now, and he's starting to get that loose skin. You know, on the most muscular, he used to really pop, but you look at the chest now, you look at the loose skin around the chest, the arms aren't popping, they're starting to melt, the legs have always been downsized, really. It's a sad day, and I don't want to see him end up like this guy. Look, yeah, this guy's probably really happy at what he's doing, but it's delusional. And I don't want to call him deluded because he's been a great champion. But in this guy's mind, he also probably thinks he's a great champion. I just think there's a point that you can go where you just need to let it go. You know, Dexter was 50 years old, the vampire, but he knew when to hang it up. And you look at Breon here, this was in the 22 Olympia. Look, he looked absolutely incredible. He had everything, the peaky biceps, he had the small waist. He just had that classic flow, a beautiful poser. This man pushed Sebum for years, and Sebum will tell you now that he brought out the best in Chris Bumstead. I mean, we look at the back. For me, this is the greatest back shot in classic history, in modern classic history. The level of detail, upper body and lower body, was just unparalleled. And I think that this man will go down as one of the greatest MVPs of all time in our sport in the classic physique division. Let me know what you think. Should he continue? Is he wasting his time? Is he melted? Has Father Time caught up with Breon Ansley? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, moving on to your 2-on-2 champion, who is also 3 weeks out. I'll say this, and I stand by my word, that this is the most complete pound-for-pound bodybuilder on the planet. He doesn't have a weak pose. Dorian Yates used to be called the master of mandatories, but Keone equally is the master of mandatories. Not only is he good in every single pose, but he pops. You look at the X-frame, you look at the biceps, the symmetry on the quads. He's got literally everything. This was posted just yesterday, and don't worry, lads, this was at the start of prep, so I can only imagine what he looks like. I think we're going to obviously see the best that we've ever seen him look. And I honestly think that if he steps up into the open, that Keone Pearson will be your open champion. He's too complete. The only thing that holds him back is his size. But let me know what you think, lads. If he steps into the open, he's going to be going against Krizo in about 4 weeks' time at the Prague Pro. If he beats Krizo, do you believe that he can go on to win the Olympia in 26? Because this man is the most complete bodybuilder, as I said, on the planet, and he's still young. And how would he get on if he went up against the likes of the mutant, or the abomination as I call him, Nick Walker? Because they're completely different physiques, they have different strengths and different weaknesses. But if you ask me, the most complete bodybuilder that we've seen since Phil Heath, this is the man right here. When Steve Weinberger first saw him when he was natural, when Keone was natural, Steve actually said he was speechless. He said, I can't believe what I'm actually looking at. Now moving on, we're looking at good Vito, who is also 3 weeks out from Olympia. And let me tell you, this guy loves a good filter. He puts 100 times sharpness and structure on his filter. But how does he get on? We're looking at an improved back here. How would he get on against someone like the mutant Nick Walker? And let's not forget, Nick Walker, he doesn't put any filters on his pictures. He puts a picture, he takes the first picture and puts it up. But I think a very interesting comparison, and I'll tell you this now, Vito, with improvements and with polish, with good posing, I think he's a top 3 Olympian in the future. Again, still in his 20s. But let me know what you think. Does he have a shot at the top 3 at the Olympia? And in other news, lads, you are looking at Stefan Matala, who was a couple of days out from the France Pro. Stefan is one of those bodybuilders. Your eyes are just drawn to him. The fullness, the symmetry, the massive chest. But look, do I think he's overrated? Yeah, I do. Slightly. I don't think he's overrated, but I think it's premature. I think he's got that fullness, that crazy fullness you see on the chest, on the shoulders, on the arms. But when he hits the poses, the front double and the back especially, the arms are very Derek Lunsford-esque. They've got no peaks to them. Yeah, crazy legs, I'll give him that. And he's just got a beautiful structure. He is a smaller guy, sitting about 5'5", 5'6", but at the back, I don't think he can hang with someone like Quint Beastwood. Not yet. Not at the France Pro, and I do think that Quint will beat him. Now, he's just split up with his coach. I think that was crazy on peak week. I don't know what's happened with him and Patrick Tor. A lot of people seem to want to know the drama, but lads, I want to know what he looks like on the stage. Let me know what you think. Is Stefan, is he overrated? Can he beat someone like Quint Beastwood in a couple of days' time? Let me know what you think in the comments. And last but not least, lads, I bring you Andrea Mamoli, who will also be competing this weekend at the France Pro. Andrea, for me, is the epitome. He is the pinnacle. Even though he's still very young in his early 20s, this is what I want to see a classic physique look like. You know, you take him back to the 70s, he's not going to look out of place. But you look at the lines, the posing. I think this lad really understands the art of what it means to be a classic physique. Is he advanced? Meaning, is he conditioned to the bone? Absolutely. But you look at the arms, you look at the vacuum. He is reminiscent to anyone in the 70s. Obviously, we don't know much about him because he hasn't really hit mainstream. But lads, am I just being premature? But I think this is the future. I do. I think this is the perfect physique for the division. You've got the likes of Ayres and Ramon. They're both wanting to go into the Open. Obviously, Ayres has went into the Open. But this is a physique that belongs in classic. He's got everything to dominate the sport of classic physique for years to come. Where'd you fault him? I'm absolutely flawless, even in the back. You know, the tapered waist, the striatus. He's got literally everything. Just let's look at him from the back. The striated glutes. Very mature, yes. Could probably use a little bit more mass, but he's still only early 20s, mid 20s. This lad has a bright future, and this is the kind of physique that I want to see. Let me know what you think. Is this the art? Is this classic physique personified? Let me know what you think, lads, in the comments. We are 3 weeks out from the Olympia. I am getting a little bit excited, to say the least, and I will see you in the next one, my friends.